What's up, y'all? It's Ty, back with another reaction. This one we're talking about rigged moments in NBA history. My man Nonstop came up with this video. Now, I do believe the NBA draft lottery's been rigged before. Outside of that, I don't necessarily know. What else has been rigged in NBA history? Let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Let's get it.
Did you know that the NBA league generates over $8 billion annually? The NBA is a big business.
Can I have $1? Just one?
Running that business can involve vetoing trades, prolonging playoffs.
That veto trade was crazy too for, I think, what was it, Chris Paul to the Lakers or something?
And enabling big market teams to get high draft picks.
That was sad.
If you love conspiracy theories, then this video is for you. Because here are the most controversial moments in NBA history.
Is that Glenn Taylor?
2002 Western Conference Finals, Game 6. The Sacramento Kings had the best record in the league in 2002 and were on the brink of their first NBA Finals, leading the Lakers 3-2 in the West Finals.
This was
The Lakers
sad.
didn't have a solution for the super talented Kings, and that's when the officials decided to offer a helping hand. Almost every call down the stretch of Game 6 was terrible, and the Kings players got fouls just by looking in Shaq's general direction. The Lakers shot 18 more free throws than the Kings in the final quarter, but it was still a close game.
18 more in just the final quarter.
And then, the crown jewel, the pièce de résistance of bad calls happened 1 minute before the end. It was the uncalled foul on Kobe Bryant when he elbowed and bloodied the face of Mike Bibby. The ref saw it as Bibby's foul, and that was all she wrote. The Kings lost the game.
I mean, again, that in live time, I mean, that call alone is kind of tough, but it's the combination of everything.
And then Game 7 as well. And everybody with a healthy pair of eyes saw what kind of a robbery it was. Tim Donaghy, an NBA ref who was convicted for fixing games, said that this contest between the Kings and Lakers was blatant fraud, and that the NBA instructed the refs to set the Lakers up for an NBA Finals appearance to increase the TV ratings.
I honestly believe it. I do believe it, because you got the Sacramento Kings or the LA Lakers. Who do they want?
Like he always did, David Stern denied all accusations, even though he admitted that the refs were bad in Game 6. 1985 Draft Lottery. The 1985 NBA Draft Lottery.
Like, you have literally envelopes. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
When the lottery system replaced the coin toss as the
obviously
decider for the top pick in the draft. The lottery system was supposed to be less controversial and eligible for fraud, but the inaugural lottery ended up being the most controversial of them all. By the 1985 lottery rules, 7 teams had an equal 14.3% chance to win the first pick, which meant the right to select Patrick Ewing, a consensus best player in the draft.
And guess what? Of course the Knicks got him, right? Like, of course. This one is bad.
The ping pong balls they do now. They actually put large cards into a tumbler, spun it around, and David Stern would select one to be the top pick. There was controversy coming into the draft when Stan Kasten, then the general manager of the Atlanta Hawks, told the general public that the draft was a setup and that the Knicks will be the lottery winners because they are the biggest market and the biggest breadwinner for the league.
It's the facts. It's literally the facts. Especially this long ago. They needed this.
But that indeed happened. Conspiracy theories started to come up in a whirlwind. The lottery was organized by an accounting firm, Ernst & Whinney, which was owned by the Knicks. Jack Wagner, a partner at Ernst & Whinney, placed the envelopes in the drum and curiously happened to bang one of the envelopes and made a small dent, which happened to be the Knicks envelope. Some people also claim that they put the Knicks envelope in a freezer so Stern would know which one to pull out. When asked about the setup, Stern defended himself by asking, "Why would I put myself and the league at such a huge legal risk? That's crazy."
You tell me. You tell me.
2000 Western Finals.
When you're going to make that much more money, you tell me.
Shaq was on a mission in 2000, and in the best shape of his life, he won the NBA MVP and was determined to win his first title. But the Lakers ran into the most challenging possible opponents in the Western Finals, the Portland Trail Blazers, who were often called the Jailblazers during that era. The Jailblazers were tough as nails, and they also had a really talented team that pushed the Lakers to Game 7. There, it seemed like Kobe and Shaq would leave empty-handed once more, with the Blazers leading by 16 late in the third quarter.
What? They were up 16. How did they lose?
However, with some Portland misses here, some terrible ref calls there, and a spectacular alley-oop from Bryant to Shaq, the Lakers completed a comeback and secured a trip to the NBA Finals.
They were down
Due to many bad calls and Scottie Pippen and Arvydas Sabonis fouling out in Game 7, this game was considered a huge steal in favor of the Lakers. 2006.
Man, of course they got to foul Scotty and Arvidas. So, man, this is why I can't stand the Lakers. I can't stand the Lakers. These big time organizations that literally, never mind, forget it. It is what it is.
Finals.
The Timberwolves would never have won that. It is what, you know what it is.
The NBA Finals is one of the most watched sporting events on the planet, and it's in the league's best interest that it lasts as long as it can.
That's the
So when
fact.
the Mavericks took a 2-0 lead in the 2006 Finals and were up by double digits in Game 3, it seemed like the series was over, which wasn't too pleasing for David Stern. But that's when Dwayne Wade saved the day for the Heat and the NBA. Young Flash played out of his mind, willing his team to victory in Game 3, albeit with a bit of a push from the refs. But what was a little wind in the Heat's sails in Game 3 was an absolute hurricane in Game 5, when Wade went 21 for 25 from the free throw line.
25 free throws. Now look, I'd have to watch this game back. I'd have to watch it all back. But 25 free throws. That's more than like Embiid numbers. That's ridiculous.
Shooting as many freebies as the entire Mavericks team. In the final 4 games of the series, Wade shot an average of 18 free throws per game. The Heat would win all those games and clinch their first title, but it left a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
A lot of
Cuban
free
was
throws.
livid, accusing the league that the games were rigged to increase revenue, and many people agreed with him. Of course, David Stern was not among those people, and Cuban got a $250,000 fine, and a reminder that
For him, that's nothing, but still.
he may be a shark on Shark Tank, but the biggest and meanest fish in the NBA was still Mr. Stern. Chris Paul trade vetoed.
This is crazy.
Chris Paul got drafted to the NBA in 2005, quickly becoming a big star and the best point guard in the league. However, New Orleans was never a serious contender during his 6-year tenure, and CP had no desire to extend his expiring contract in 2011, so the club had to trade him. The Hornets general manager Dell Demps agreed on a 3-team trade, and Paul should have gone to the Lakers, who would have sent all-star Pau Gasol to Houston, and the Hornets would have gotten back a package of 4 players and multiple draft picks.
Like, how does this get vetoed?
But the Hornets, now called the Pelicans, had no owner at the time and were temporarily led by then NBA Commissioner David Stern. Stern acted as a representative of all the other NBA owners, who feared that the combination of Paul and Kobe Bryant would be unstoppable. Under
You can't veto a trade because of that.
their influence, Stern vetoed the trade under the pretext that it was not in the Hornets' best interest. 4 days later, Paul was traded to the LA Clippers for Eric Gordon, Al-Farouq Aminu, and Chris Kaman. In retrospect, a far worse deal than originally proposed.
For the Hornets, yeah, they got hoed.
Stern's decision to nix the first trade was greeted with an enormous backlash from the fans.
I'm not gonna lie, if I was a Lakers fan and the Clippers got him instead, I'd have been heated during this. So mad. Like, what are we doing? You can't just... This is literally fixed right here.
Around the league, and some still consider it illegal today. The GM Dell Demps was not authorized to make that trade, and acting on behalf of owners, we decided not to make it. I was an owner rep. There was nothing to veto. It just never got made, Stern later explained. 2012 Draft Lottery. The NBA bought the New Orleans Hornets in 2011 for $300 million to ensure the franchise's financial solvency and the health of the league as a whole. After David Stern had his hands in the Chris Paul trade and got an enormous amount of flack for his involvement, he wasted no time to find a new owner who would relieve him of his newfound GM duties. By April 2012, the NBA found a buyer for the Hornets when Saints owner Tom Benson purchased
Who?
the team for $338 million. Benson then needed a superstar to bring fans to the arena, something Stern was very hopeful to accomplish as well, partly to make up for the Chris Paul fiasco.
Yeah, there's the star, Austin Rivers. Timberwolves legend, Austin Rivers.
Despite having only a 13% chance of winning, the Hornets won the lottery and drafted Anthony Davis. Luck, coincidence, or something else?
I don't like David Stern. I'll be the one to say I don't like him.
It only gave birth to another round of boos for Stern. 1988 NBA Finals Game 6. In 1988, the Lakers were the NBA powerhouse and its most popular team, while the Pistons were the bad boys.
I swear, if I was a basketball fan at this time, I don't like the bad boy Pistons. I would
And
have.
not that much liked outside of Michigan. The
I don't like them. You play in LA. I want
two
them to
teams
win.
met in the NBA Finals, and the Pistons had the chance to take all the marbles in Game 6, leading the series 3-2. And what a Game 6 it was. The Lakers led at halftime, but Isaiah Thomas scored 25 points in the third quarter despite severely injuring his ankle and barely standing. With his one-legged heroics, the Pistons were on the brink of their first title in franchise history. But that's when the refs got involved. With 14 seconds left and the Pistons up
They called a foul on that?
by 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with refs got involved. With 14 seconds left and the Pistons up by 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was fouled by Bill Laimbeer on a play where Laimbeer did not appear to even touch Jabbar.
They called a foul.
The Lakers won the game, and eventually the championship in game
Now, I don't know what the time and score was. I know what the time was. I don't know what the score was, but that's a bad call.
7. But many believe that the Pistons were heavily robbed.
See, like, this is why it cannot be a league that's defined by rings. It just can't be. It just can't be. Because refs
Dikembe
could...
Mutombo congratulating the Sixers on the first pick. Considering the cloud of the draft lottery and all the conspiracy theories out there, Dikembe Mutombo certainly didn't help the league out and has added fuel to the fire with his tweet in 2016. He congratulated his former team, the Philadelphia 76ers, on landing the #1 pick, which would have been perfectly okay if he didn't do that 17 hours before the actual draft lottery. Sure, Philly had the best odds to land the first pick.
Oh, if they were, I was going to say, if they weren't, like, favored, then I would be sus. But if, like, maybe he didn't understand how the draft lottery worked and they just had it or were projected in mock drafts and stuff, then I would have been like, okay, but...
Maybe Dikembe was just really optimistic, or maybe a little confused.
I bet
Perhaps
he just
had a
didn't
night
know.
out and forgot what day it was. It happened to me more than once, so no judging here, Dikembe. Whatever it wasn't a good look for the league.
I don't think this is a real...
He's been dealing with accusations of fixing the lottery
that's
for
bad.
decades. Mutombo deleted the tweet, but Philadelphia ended up with the first pick, thus putting on another layer of intrigue to the integrity of the draft lottery. 1993 draft lottery. The Orlando Magic had won the 1992
This dude, David Stern, just looks like he's a cheater.
lottery and selected Shaquille O'Neal with the first pick in the draft. Shaq was a dominant force from the get-go, and he pushed the lowly Magic to a 41-41 record, but they were still one win short from the playoffs, and thus got another chance in the lottery. This time, they only had a 1.5% chance to win it, but as you can probably guess, that's exactly what happened.
1.5% is pretty low. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but that's
Orlando
pretty
was
low,
a new
man.
up-and-coming franchise at the time, and for them to win 2 lotteries in a row seemed far-fetched, and some people believe it was in the NBA's best interest to push the odds in Magic's favor. Draymond Green's suspension in the 2016 NBA Finals. During the 2016 Western Finals, Draymond Green had hit the Thunder center Steven Adams in the groin twice, showing precision that far exceeded his shooting touch.
100% should have been suspended if he
Basketball.
wasn't. I don't know
Green
if he
said it
was.
was not on purpose and that he does not want to deprive anyone on the basketball court of the opportunity to one day be a parent. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, the NBA said back to Draymond, explaining that kicking people
Oh, they did
when
suspend
the
him,
family
okay.
jewels can be an accident once, but that the second kick will be treated as a flagrant foul. It was Draymond's 3rd flagrant in the playoffs, and the next one meant that he would earn
Oh, the next one. Yeah, this is the Cavs, right?
himself a 1-game suspension. The Warriors
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he got suspended for that, but he should have. This is the one.
would then proceed to the NBA Finals and gain a 3-1 lead over the LeBron-led Cavaliers, but would have to play without Draymond in Game 5. After a scuffle with LeBron in Game 4, Draymond took a swing where LeBron James doesn't like to be touched by anyone other than Mrs. James. It was his 3rd ball strike, and he was out for Game 5, which swung the series in the Cavs' favor, and was the main reason the Warriors didn't celebrate another championship. Even though the Warriors fans argued that a call like that can't be made on the grandest stage.
Man, Draymond is so dirty. He was back then. He still is. If you support Draymond Green at this point and think, oh, well, blah, 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 you're part of the problem. Like, it's ridiculous.
And that the suspension is overblown. This one was hardly rigged, and the decision to suspend Green was probably the correct one.
It is, absolutely. Shout out to my guy Nonstop. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.